Facebook channels. Appreciate everybody saying hello and dropping some comments in. Throw me a line, nasty at WNST.net. So this week we have the Orioles fighting for first place with the Red Sox and then the Blue Jays. Of course, we have the Ravens on the backfields now out in Owings Mills with some temperate, weather conditions this week. Probably won't be that way in August when we get there, but the 1 week of mandatory camp, and I'm sure there'll be some fallout from that later on in the week. But meanwhile, the NBA playoffs, despite that parade up in Pittsburgh with the Stanley Cup that I have refused to acknowledge in any way, the NBA playoffs continue on. Game 5 really on a night when the Orioles weren't playing, certainly dominated my timeline, and it was straight in front of us, and maybe the greatness of LeBron James forces a Game 6 here, and we'll see how that goes. Lee Klein covers all things basketball and has been doing this for a long, long time as the five-star camp. Every one of these guys that makes the NBA, at least from the American side, Lee, they wind up coming through a camp, if not yours, others like yours, and in I think at the top of the food chain, everyone wants to cut down nets in a March Madness game, but they really dribble with the hope of getting the glitter and the gold trophy and that Michael Jordan moment. And I think everyone thought that was going to Golden State in Game 5, but Cleveland has said not so fast. Keep hope alive in the land of Cleve, right, Lee?
An incredible performance by Kyrie Irving, especially LeBron James. I mean, you're talking about, Batman and Robin type performance, willing their way to victory. And at one point, they talk about the zone. And at one point, that's when a shooter feels like no matter what he does, the ball is going in the basket. And we saw some of that from Klay Thompson in the first half. But in the second half, Kyrie Irving was in the zone where he just felt anytime the basketball was in his hands, he put it up, it was going in. And it really carried over in that confidence between LeBron James being assertive and Kyrie Irving being confident. That really carried over. And defensively, they just picked it up a whole notch. And one thing you saw with Draymond Green out, the game came down to each game in this series, Cleveland has been able to cover all but one guy. Right?
Sure.
So they have made a decision throughout to leave somebody open. So it was last night. It was Harrison Barnes the other night. And he just had a miserable shooting outing. And
so did Curry to some degree, right? I mean, Curry needs to be better too.
Yeah, he seemed to be out of sorts, but that sort of Harrison Barnes was in that Draymond Green position where Green in Game 3 took over. It was like Game 2 or 3, and was just incredible with his performance. That might have been Game 2 where he was just on fire, and because they allowed him to shoot that shot, and that's what Harrison Barnes had that opportunity. Free agent at the end of the year and had a great position to increase his stock for free agency starting July 1st, but it didn't happen. He came up tiny, and they really never recovered from that. But I think in Game 6, with the Warriors back, the pressure still is that Cleveland has to do everything right. Their margin for error is so slim. They need incredible things to happen to win each game, where Golden State, with the ability to score from so many different places, they just need 2 or 3 guys to have their type of game in order to win.
Well, and the loss of Draymond Green obviously was huge in Game 5. I'm kind of shocked we're going to a Game 6. I'm kind of shocked that Cleveland could go out there and do that. But when you score 13 points in the fourth quarter, I mean, the shots were going down early for both teams. At the end of the game, Golden State felt like they had no confidence at all. I was kind of shocked the crowd didn't get more involved because that sea of gold out there is where it is. But I think the story on Kyrie Irving, LeBron doesn't have enough help around him, right? I mean, that was the word last year with the injury and Love and all of that. And this year, there would be no shame in Cleveland going down in 5 or 6 or at all, because you would say, well, Golden State was the better team anyway. LeBron sort of has that cop-out to say, well, I had better talent around me in Miami, and there wasn't this super team in Golden State that won 73 games. I thought it was really a statement game for Irving, and I think if you look back on his career, that'll be the best game he ever plays. And if they win the championship and somehow there's a parade next week in Cleveland, you'll look back on Game 5 out in Golden State and say, it wasn't LeBron, it was the other guy that poured in 41 too. Clearly,
him being out there in this whole championship series, he's been on a mission with, especially in considering how last year the disappointment to deal with the injury in the first game. So he's been out here on a mission. He's performed incredibly well. I still don't think they have enough firepower to make it, to make it happen. It's just so difficult for them to put it together compared to what you're looking at, the arsenal that Golden State is able to have. The thing, the big elephant in the room is twofold. Remember, this is a team that LeBron had a lot of his fingerprints on. So
no doubt,
while it may not be the team that he left in Miami, he still has to take he's got to take it for, this is a team, he made a lot of these choices, so if win, lose, or draw, it's on him, a lot of it. The other piece is what's happened to Kevin Love. That's it's real interesting to see. Here's a guy that in Minnesota looked like an all NBA caliber player, and he was, you didn't even know he was on the floor in times since he's been back from his injury. You don't even know that he's on the floor. It's that is saying a lot when you talk about a guy that really was in the handful of best forwards in the game is now an anonymous player.
And playing a lot. I mean, played 33 minutes the other night and, 2 points, 3 rebounds. It kind of speaks for itself. They don't really want him all that involved, do they?
Well, there was a time in which he made a living on rebounding. Just go and get a rebound and, be a great passer. He was known coming out from UCLA as the best outlet passer that people saw since Wes Unseld, and he was known for his rebounding. He had the ability to stretch the floor, and you saw it. It's always a great example when you play. Players on losing teams that have these incredible stats. Now you transition into a winning team. Can you play a role? Can you play a role and be successful? Because it's a big difference in doing that. So Love is really struggled, but you gotta find your role and you gotta embrace it. And he seems lost as far as what is his role out there, and he better figure it out pretty quick, because Richard Jefferson, who's given him fantastic minutes, you can see that there's a threshold, and once you cross it, that the line of diminishing returns gets found. So Jefferson is great in spurts, but he might be older than you or I, Nestor, and he is he reaches the point where he's fatigued. He needs limited minutes to be as effective as he can be, and that means that Kevin Love needs to get out there and he needs to contribute, find a way to be a factor and be better defensively if Cleveland's going to find a way to force a Game 7.
Always love chatting hoops with Lee Klein. You can follow his journey out at Lee Allen Klein on Twitter. He, of course, is the 5-Star Camp CEO and has been involved in the basketball game. How many decades now, Lee? Should I say 3 or 4? What's the actual number on this? When did you start 5-Star?
This is the 50th anniversary of 5-Star. My dad started in '66. And so I was there in a baby carriage and, fondly remember growing up and playing 2-on-2 with Patrick Ewing and Pearl Washington.
Were you like a ball boy when you were 6 years old at your dad's camps?
Yeah, basically.
That's awesome.
And And then, my first job was picking up the papers around the camp. That was my first job ever. And then, and so then I said, well, okay, so I get paid the same amount for the big pieces as the small pieces. Well, I could just rip the big pieces up into smaller pieces and still get my penny a piece. So that was like my first job there at camp. But amazing, the five-star family and who's been through and what it's meant to the game and having a small role in that. It's just been incredible. And this summer we get to do it again. I mean, what's better than working with kids on their basketball game? And it's our 50th anniversary. We're really looking forward to what we think should be just an outstanding summer.
Well, I like your Twitter picture because Pat Scarry from Towson's like literally next to you in the picture in front of some sort of old airplane there. I'm not sure what it was. Lee, for two sides of this thing, you said LeBron's fingerprints are all over this thing, and they are, right? From where you sit, appropriate, inappropriate, or just the way it is at this point when you carry that weight and come back from Miami where no one else will be dubbed the loser in this. Kyrie Irving didn't lose the finals. Love, none of these, even Tyronn Lue. It'll be, well, LeBron can't win. LeBron didn't win it for Cleveland. No one else is going to get any of the blame here.
No question about it. That's the price of greatness. From expectations to, if you want that position where you have the say in regards to personnel and coaches, and when it goes well, then you get to bask in the glory. But when it doesn't, then you've got to take that hit. You want to be considered in that greatest of all time conversation with the Michael Jordans and the Bill Russells and whoever you want to put into that. You want to be in that conversation. Part of that is coming up and finding a way to win championships. That's how we are in America today. You are judged by championships, and that's he has his opportunity, and he's still a great player. But if you want to be greatest of all time or in the conversation, you gotta put rings on your finger.
Lee, on the other side of that, then there's Golden State, right? I mean, really nothing to prove. They won last year. It's 73 wins this year. As a Washington Capitals fan, I know how meaningless the regular season is, and certainly probably felt that way when they were down 3-1 to Oklahoma City 2 weeks ago. But, for Golden State to not finish this off would be, the Tom Brady 16-0 year where it doesn't get done. We'll never see 72, 73, 74. I don't think that's possible again. But in a bottle, it's one season. I know the Cubs are trying to run away too. Cubs are trying to win 120 games, and I'll say all summer long, the most important thing you can do is win game one in October. And I guess for Golden State now to be this close and have it slipping the wrong way, and now you're going to Cleveland, but you're getting Green back. But I don't think anyone will be shocked to have to clear their calendar this weekend for a Game 7.
Yeah, with Golden State, I mean, the first thing you just see how many lottery guys. If you do a good job with the draft, and you go through that stretch with these lottery picks, Curry a lottery pick, Klay Thompson a late lottery pick, Bogut at number 1, Harrison Barnes a top 5 pick. You start accumulating enough of this talent. Iguodala, who of course they got by trade, but also lottery level player. Boy, that talent's tough. Talent still wins in most places. So they've got incredible talent, guys that really welcome a role and thrive in it. But for Golden State, it's winning. It's about winning the chip. Otherwise, you have this hollow 73 that doesn't mean anything, because if you don't win the championship, it's his own. The record is meaningless. It's all about winning the championship and putting the signature on it. And I think that they're in that position to do it. This is a great, deep team, and it will change. It's definitely going to change pretty soon here as people are going to want, start wanting to get some money, getting paid. Guys are going to get paid what their max value is. I mean, Stephen Curry at $12 million is a bargain. Draymond Green, you're going to have to pay more for him. Harrison Barnes, a free agent. So this could be the last go-around of this. Of course, there's the guys like Sean Livingston that have proved that they're worth more money as well. So, as we know in professional sports, the window the window closes really quick. So this could be the end of Golden State's window. So they want to finish it with this historic season that ends with the championship.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anywhere else in sports. I mean, with baseball, we signed Chris Davis here. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe in the end they're upset. But in basketball, if you don't have that guy, and I mean, come on, man, you're around this area and you're an East Coast guy. The Durant to the Wizards thing has been talked about for 3-4 years. I know I've talked about it anytime I talk about the Wizards. It's kind of tied to, well, how are they going to win? They need Durant. And if they don't get him, well, then they need to suck really bad and get really lucky on a lottery pick and get the next right guy, because the Wall-Beal thing doesn't look like it's going to net this level of play without some sort of augmentation. And I know the Wizards climbed it a little bit, but there's so many places where it doesn't even get to that point. I mean, you look at Atlanta and Toronto and, Oklahoma City, some of these other teams that have, been good enough to be good enough, but not at this level. And when you see these teams playing into the middle of June, you say, how do you capture that? How do you win 73 games? It's hard to do, but it really does take a special player. And if you don't have special players and you don't pay them max value, it's not going to be there for long. That window is short.
Absolutely. You talk about Durant just a tremendous player, but I think I get back to, when you look at the Golden State example, it's being able to have a deep talented team with multiple options. I don't think you take away some of these surrounding pieces, Golden State has the same effect. And that's where, when you look at Cleveland, you say, well, you could tell they're outmatched. They don't have the same firepower. You see what it takes two superstars to do to sneak a game, to win a game. Ultimately, you need to be able to get a deep team with the guys that are capable to take over and carry a game, but support players that are able to master their role and let superstars be superstars, because you can't just slough off some of these guys, because they'll beat you if you do that. That's what makes it tough. You don't want to guard this guy. He's going to score. So now you guard him. That gives the superstar an extra step that enables that superstar to score.
All right, Lee, if you had $1 and you had to put it in one direction or the other, Golden State's still going to win this?
Golden State's going to win this. You probably only get about a dime for your dollar for that bet. But Golden State's going to win this. I'd love to see. There's nothing better than when it goes to a 7-game series, just because becomes dramatic, the winner take all. It would be incredible if somehow Cleveland was able to force it to a 7-game series. So we'll see. That's what I'm rooting for, just to have that one great Game 7 for winner take all.
Well, we'll see you on Thursday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Golden State moves to Cleveland now. And I know, man, I've talked to so many people in Cleveland, Lee. I mean, I can't imagine what a parade would look like there. But, and I said, this is the part in the play where the Cleveland people really get tortured, right? And if we're going to torture Cleveland the way they've been tortured in the past, there will definitely be a Game 7.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. They'd have to close Cleveland down if they won a championship. Well, there'd have to be no work allowed on that day.
Well, it's not going to happen for the Browns. We know that much. Hey, great having you on, Lee. As always, man, we'll send everybody out the 5-star and the Vision Chat on Twitter. Great talking hoops with you, bud.
My pleasure.
You got it. Lee Klein from 5-Star Camps joining us here. You can find him out on Twitter at Lee Allen Klein. He is the 5-Star CEO and a longtime hoopologist, as we said, with 3, 4, 5 decades. That's for him to do the math, not for me. I'm out on Facebook Live. I want to say hello to everybody tuning us in. Appreciate you stopping by and seeing all that we do. You can find anything you miss in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault at WNST.net 24 hours a day. It's podcastable, downloadable. Anywhere you go, we go. And you can listen when you want, where you want, how you want, and now you can watch from my little lair like Dr. Evil Studio, but I'm going to be putting some cool stuff on the walls. I got to work on some bobbleheads, something behind me beside the Sticks Pieces of 8 picture disc from 1978, 79, somewhere in there. Anyway, also morning newspaper, 7 a.m. It hits your email inbox. If you're looking for all the updates right on your mobile device, that's the best way to do that. That's powered up by Planet Fitness and planetfitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life there. And last but never, ever least, breaking news happens first on the WNST Tech Service. Got your mobile device out, just sign up. It's one click, it's free, it's easy, it's all powered up by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard, and you'll always be the smartest person at the pool this summer, at the party, wherever you were on Saturday afternoon. It wasn't good news on Bashard Perryman, but you got it first from us. That's what we do. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.